Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Deiser, and I'm here with my Dami Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got such good news to go over today. Well, I mean, good in the sense that it's interesting, exciting, along the same lines of some of the things we've been talking about last week and throughout the course of the show so far. And I know that this first story we've already gone over. So we've already had this discussion in one way or another, but I think more things will come up today. I'm talking about the bovine leukemia virus that was discovered to be transmissible to humans. So basically, I should give a quick outline about this virus. In the 70s, the milk industry knew that cows had this virus called bovine leukemia virus, but they didn't think it was transmissible to humans, which, because of the science, we had no way of finding out. But now with DNA technology, we know that it is transmissible to humans, and some things have come out about it. Mainly one study which came up for me on the Berkeley website, which was published in a journal just recently, which was a test of breast cancer tissue, showing that in this study, which was only 240 women, but it was still significant, statistically significant, showed that the people with breast cancer were 3 times more likely to have having the virus in the tissue increased the risk of breast cancer by 3 times. Which is more than obesity. It's more than pretty much all the other than having breast cancer in your family. It's more than alcohol consumption. It's more than obesity in terms of being a risk factor.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
That's intense.
It is, absolutely. And the reason we're even doing this is because we know that, a virus called HPV causes cervical and anal cancer. Mm-hmm. We know that hepatitis B causes liver cancer. Mm-hmm. So they want to find out, maybe, is there a virus causing breast cancer?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big conversation.
It is a big conversation, and it brings us back to this dairy-free idea we've been talking about for a long time.
Right, and I had seen that someone had shared the article, and I had seen that a lot of people's responses were, well, I don't have to worry about it. I drink organic milk. And the thing is organic, inorganic, that doesn't matter when it comes to a virus.
No, it didn't matter. And in this one study, they looked at many different farms, and they tested the milk. Yeah. And they found that farms with greater than 500 cows, so the larger farms, it was a 100% chance that there was this virus in the milk. Oh. And the smaller farms, where it was 100 cows or less, there was an 80% chance that this virus was in the milk. So it's very high probability this virus is there.
Wow.
Now,
makes me wonder a whole slew of other things.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Like, I have for myself, just testing dairy on myself by removing dairy and then realizing how much better my body works without it. Mm-hmm. You wonder, so is it an autoimmune reaction to dairy? Or is it an autoimmune reaction to
a virus? Is your body trying to fight something off?
Gosh, that's scary.
It is. And, DNA the DNA technology has given us such a whole new range of things to look at and study and assess. And this is going to be a major one in terms of cancer research. So, I mean, I'm extremely interested. Obviously...
Yeah, you'll have to keep us posted on this.
I will. And the ultimate goal is we're just trying to prevent cancer.
You're trying to prevent cancer, and I'm trying to help people live optimally healthy lives. So it's always a challenge trying to bring these things up. Mm-hmm. We had a conversation last night with our faux niece, our fake niece.
Yeah, right.
She's not feeling well, and one of the top things we recommended was eliminate dairy, and for her it's
significant, absolutely.
It's a huge, but we're very passionate about it. Of course, we didn't tell her about these studies because it's she's too young to know any of that, but, you know, it's challenging to explain to people that have dairy in their everyday lives to think about reducing it or eliminating it. But, I mean, it's something we've become increasingly passionate about.
Oh, yeah, we have. I mean, and on another complicated side of things, infectious disease is complicated to understand. I mean, they still don't know in this one small study, was this virus from milk you had? Was it from cheese you had? Did you have it before the breast cancer? Did you have it after the breast cancer? Did you get it from other humans? Is that possible? We don't know. But what we do know is that more people had it who had breast cancer in this one study than didn't.
And you know it was found in the milk.
It was found in the breast tissue. But it's 100% in the milk of large...
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, of large farms.
That's not questionable.
No, it is in the milk, absolutely. It's what's the impact on the body and how is this going to change the risk factor for other things. I mean, my gosh, we're going to find out a lot of things thanks to DNA technology.
Wow.
Yes. So we've got more things to go over. I mean, it was a really interesting last couple of days in health news and science. I mean, these ones are more obviously not as... Well, some of them can be as intense, but not along the same lines as cancer. Basically, they're doing some different studies and trying to pass different bills in states where they want to put labels on drinks with high sugar content.
What do you mean labels?
Labels, the same labels that are on cigarette packs.
So they just... Okay. So they want to put visibly on the label, this is detrimental to your health.
Yes, this will cause obesity. It can cause diabetes. It can cause this and that and that to prevent parents from giving these high sugar drinks to your kids.
You know, I think another way to go about this, I mean, sure, they can do this. Another way to go about this is to end marketing to children of these sugary beverages. In the same way that you're not allowed to market a cigarette anymore to children, you know. Because when you watch any of these programs for pop or, you know, sports drinks or any sugar drinks, it's all marketed towards kids.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not marketed towards us.
No, it's always kids. It's sad.
Well, it's manipulative.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, it is sad. It's especially sad when they use athletes and, you know, stars and that kind of thing that these kids look up to. But, yeah, that'd be a smart way to go about this. The bill and the marketing to children.
Oh, the marketing to children, I think, is more beneficial than what they're actually doing here. Now, they're trying to pass bills, and the bills have already been passed in New York and California. This is a different state they're speaking of here, I think. At the University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine is where this study was done. I mean, they had to do a study to figure out if this is going to work. So they assessed. They did a study where they had sugary drinks and they had no label. They had a label with just a little bit of a warning, and then they had a cigarette warning, which didn't like the same style, but instead of saying the lung cancer things, it said obesity and a few other things. Right. And you know, parents were 20% less likely to give these drinks to their kids. So they've determined it's effective. Now the bill has never been these labeling has never happened yet. But the potential is there, and they've been approved in a few different places. So we could see this soon. But this for me brings it back to the things you've already said. Teach your kids how to eat healthy.
Guess where they're going with this is we're reaching across the lines to the parents that aren't educated. Really. I guess so. So we're trying to regulate people that are not regulating themselves.
Right.
It's a weird time because it's a real debate, because my argument is, you know, I always feel like we should be teaching people to use their common sense again, because I feel like everyone's kind of in a trance, just walking around going, okay, whatever the government says, that's what I'm going to do, or whatever my immediate boss says, or whatever I see on TV is fact, or whatever I watch in this movie, that's what makes me feel. And I mean, my thing, you know, is always trying to bring people back to their intuition and their own intelligence. Like, we all have a guiding force. We all really do. We all have a... You know, we know this is good, we know this is bad. You know, we really do. And I've never met anyone that doesn't have it.
No.
Most people do. But it's something that has to be nurtured, has to be used. it has to be acknowledged. If you can shut it down. We've all, I can say through my own life history, I've shut it down, I've ignored it, and my life actually suffered for it. So it's one of those things that you have to nurture. But I don't know. I have a debate with myself because, if someone honestly doesn't know and they're feeding their 2-year-old, pop, if they go into a store and then read on it that this could, right in their face as they're purchasing it, and that changes that purchase, then I guess that's worth it. But what I would wish for is that we could bring people back to their own intelligence.
Right.
Instead of being blinded by marketing.
There's, 50 to 100 years of change to be done here. And I guess this would just be one way to stimulate it quickly. You see these big, bold labels, and, they say, this is dangerous.
Well, I guess, and the fact is, it's worked with cigarettes, has it not?
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely worked with cigarettes. Yeah. So, hopefully we'll see some positive change in that arena. I mean, it's extremely important to get these high sugar drinks away from kids.
I get it, but then you start to wonder, so are they going to do that on chocolate bars? Are they going to put it on candy? Are they going to, where's it going to end? Are they going to go put it on cotton candy? Are they going to put it on slushies?
I know if you pass this for one thing, the industry will obviously say that. If you're doing this to us, you're going to want to do this to everyone. This won't be fair.
Yeah.
From an industry perspective. But from a health perspective, I think it's a start. Yeah. And it could promote some serious change like we've seen with cigarettes in the last 30 years. It's been really effective. So I hope that it can make some changes and it could be very, very positive. On the same side of things, obviously the research about and just the discussion about e-cigarettes is huge right now.
What are they saying?
That it's growing amongst young people.
Well, we don't need to read that. You and I can see it.
Oh, we can absolutely see it.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and you can almost tell the percentages. In North America, the percentage of use among young people has gone from 6% to 13% or something like that, just in the last couple of years. Well, not in the last couple of years. This is very, very recent. I don't even know the time frame because it just came out.
It's safe to say in the last year, the majority of people I see smoking them are, I'd say, average 20-year-old males.
Right, and that would just be a reflection of our neighborhood. And this is about even younger. This is about in schools.
Oh, no.
This is very, very young. Is it illegal
for them to buy it?
I don't know. I would assume.
I would assume it's the same as cigarettes, right? Because it's nicotine?
Yeah, exactly. But in terms, they say, okay, initially they said it's better for you because it doesn't have tar.
That's what they always say.
But we've now found that there's 10,000 chemicals in there that we don't know what they do to the body.
But where did that information come from? The cigarette companies, or did it come from independent studies?
The initial information came from cigarette companies, I believe.
Trying to fight back against e-cigarettes. This is where that's, again, well, first of all, there's no such thing as long-term studies on this because it's so new.
No, exactly.
The one thing that is so bizarre about it is I was walking behind someone the other day, and I was walking, and I thought, my gosh, it smells like cotton candy. It smells so good.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was the e-cigarette.
Oh my gosh.
I just realized I sound like 80.
Yeah.
I was walking behind.
I was walking behind a few young gentlemen.
They were smoking on this cigarette. Anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I didn't clue in. But that's the other thing. They don't smell like cigarettes. They smell like candy.
No, exactly. So the reason this came up for me today is because the UK is doing research about...
Oh, and that's probably why children... Yeah.
Absolutely. They're saying, okay, if it's marketed to kids as chocolate and bubblegum flavors, are they more likely to buy them? And yes, they are. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Some of these things you don't need to study. But the point is, they are being marketed as chocolate and bubblegum, and they are being purchased by kids, and this is right now.
Wow, that's not good.
No. And, no matter who that 10,000 chemicals study came from, I don't have the source right
no,
here.
I'm not debating that I'm saying the problem with a lot of these studies and that people dismiss them and that these companies will fight back against them is they'll say, well, of course, they're going to find negative things. This is from our competitor. And that's the problem. The cigarette companies have the money to get these studies done faster than any health organizations that can give us an unbiased truth about...
True.
That's what's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that people that, are either deep in addiction or could profit off children or whoever smoking these e-cigarettes are going to debate that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And they have grounds to.
They do, absolutely. And then the debate comes, is nicotine a gateway drug? Is this happening? Is this happening?
God.
So basically, kids, if you're listening, please stay away from e-cigarettes. There's just no point. You do not want to be addicted to these things.
Also, why are you listening to our podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, when we saw those kids the other day, I mean, one of the kids, how old do you think he was?
I can't even talk about it. I'm so upset. He may have been 8,
mm-hmm.
and the other 2 children he was with were probably, 18. Maybe siblings. I don't know what the situation was, but he was a child.
Yeah, definitely.
It was really upsetting.
The other thing is, they're not cool.
No,
let's talk about coolness factor.
No, they're not cool.
They're definitely not cool. And this is not a personal judgment to anyone's character.
No.
I'm not going to go up to someone and say, listen, you're very uncool for doing this.
No.
But just kids, once again, if you are randomly listening, they're definitely not cool.
No.
It's not something you want to be doing.
No. No, and I think the coolest thing you can do this generation coming is optimize your health.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
No matter what industry you want to go into, no matter, I think that we have more information than ever out there about optimizing the human body and the brain and what that can do for you. And, I think this next generation is capable of doing unbelievably amazing things.
Oh my gosh, especially with the ancient bacteria.
Oh, here we go.
MIT produced workout gear that we're going to see that opens when you sweat because of a chain reaction caused. Anyways.
I can just picture the day that I say, okay, hey, you ready to go for a hike?
Yeah.
And then you come out in that fish gear.
Yeah. Fish gear, Fitbit on.
No.
iPhone strapped to the person.
And you know what I'm going to do?
What?
Run away.
Oh, for sure. I can just picture it. No, Dave. No. This is not happening. No. Definitely. I mean, there's just so many more ways to be cool than e-cigarettes.
Yeah, just take it from Dave,
Take it from me. One last story for today, and this one has been in the news for about a week now, and it's because of the U.S. restricting pregnant mothers' trips down to South America.
Pardon?
Yes, and you may not have seen this. I know that you don't follow the news in the news channels.
No, can you explain that first?
So what's happening is there's this new bug called the Zika.
Okay.
It's Ziki, okay. And it's a mosquito-borne illness.
Okay.
Being transmitted all over different countries in South America. There's been specific recommendations on where not to go. More than a dozen Latin American or Caribbean countries and Puerto Rico is where the Zika is expanding. Basically, what happens is when a pregnant mother gets infected with this virus, this mosquito-borne virus, what happens is that the child can be born with a very small head and it can cause brain damage. And it's happening on a major level. Major level. Very dangerous. You can't go to South America if you're pregnant, no. Right now. It's been restricted.
Wow, so how long have they known about it?
I'm not exactly sure, and many of the country's representatives are trying to downplay the issue and explain to North Americans what they're doing to, eradicate, and, they've released a certain number of mosquitoes with a different bacteria that doesn't infect humans that could maybe take out these types of mosquitoes. And
okay, so who banned pregnant women from traveling to South America?
I believe
the U.S. and Canada, or
it was the CDC.
No way.
All I have here is the CDC. So the American government, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not banned. It's a strong recommendation.
Not to go.
The U.S. decision to advise pregnant women to postpone traveling to more than a dozen. Yeah.
No way.
CDC, Center for Disease Control and
So
Prevention.
I wonder if that includes locations that people go on all-inclusive vacations.
It most likely, it absolutely would. What it is affecting majorly is the Olympics in Brazil.
Oh.
Many people already have tickets. I mean, let's face it. This has been planned for a long time now. The Brazilian tourism minister is taking issue with the CDC's warning. This is all happening last weekend. This is huge. the health officials in the region are investigating more than 3,500 cases of microcephaly, a previously rare condition linked to Zika, in which infants are born with abnormally small heads. And there's a photo here.
Aww.
Just really tiny heads. It's really sad.
Okay, so does this virus affect... Is it a virus?
It is, yes.
So does it affect people that aren't pregnant? Like, what is it doing to people?
I don't think that's being published on a major scale, because this is what we're seeing overtly and acutely. These babies are being born with small heads. And
Right, but it must have, I would assume, have effects on...
Yeah, and I don't know otherwise much about it. Infectious disease, again, this is a very difficult situation. I mean, this is all that's being reported in the news. I'd like to look further into it and see what's going on with adults and kids. And the government's decision to refrain from travel alerts regarding Zika coincided with World Health Organization policies. The ask in a telephone interview if Brazil was a safe destination for pregnant women, the tourism director said, "I think so, without a doubt."
Wow.
It's kind of an odd thing to say. But it could be a language thing, but I'm not sure. Anyways. Oh, okay, here we go. No, dengue fever causes fever and joint pain. Yeah, there's not much else information here. Anyhow, it's something that everyone needs to know about, especially with the Olympics coming up. And hopefully it can be eradicated and fixed up quickly, and we can find ways to prevent. Other than that, otherwise, currently it's just don't travel there if you're pregnant. But
wow.
So we covered a lot today. We covered some heavy things, but we also covered some more things that are more just advisory. We gotta get kids away from these e-cigarettes.
I know.
It's not cool. It's definitely not cool.
No, and we are really cool. So.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean. Yeah.
But in terms of the major discussions going on, this is regarding, for us, and specifically us, I mean, we've been affected by cancer in a major way in our lives, and many North Americans have, and if, it's hard to find someone who hasn't been affected by cancer in a negative way. So if we can find ways to prevent cancer, simply looking at viruses now, because we know so much about DNA, then let's pursue that in a major way.
By taking care of ourselves and our loved ones.
Oh, absolutely.
So, talking about this, what we do know.
Yes,
not turning our backs on it, being self-aware and educated, and, sharing the information.
Right. I mean, and based on this small study of only 240 women, the only, other than this virus, which we just learned about, the only thing worse for breast cancer is genetic susceptibility and radiation exposure. And then next in line is this new virus. Right. So let's look further into it.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for listening. This has been Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 11. Have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamiHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamiHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamiHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamiHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.